Hi, I'm Ashot. I call this episode MINDows Upgrade. In this episode, I would like to talk about the practical application of such useful practices as meditation and hypnosis, and they are capable of working miracles. To understand, let's first dive a little bit into the human brain. We will talk about 4 components of the brain: neocortex, limbic system, cerebellum, and reptilian brain. Neocortex. The frontal lobe of the neocortex is responsible for thoughts and decision making. The parietal lobe of the neocortex is responsible for processing information from your 5 senses. The temporal lobe of the neocortex is responsible for speech, emotions, and also switches memory from short-term to long-term and vice versa. The occipital lobe of the neocortex is responsible for vision. The neocortex communicates with the body in thousands of seconds through neuromediators, neurotransmitters, chemical elements that transmit signals between nerve cells, neurons. Limbic system. The limbic system is responsible for creating, maintaining, and regulating the chemical background of your body in form of hormones that contribute to the consolidation of your sensations, feelings, and emotions. The limbic system is responsible for triggering the so-called fight or flight mode in the reptilian brain, filling you with fear and aggression. The limbic system communicates with the body in thousands of a second through neuropeptides, which move through the blood, attach to one of your glands, and activate their production of their hormone, the chemical basis of your feelings and sensations. Cerebellum. The cerebellum is like a hard drive with the operating system of your mind. I jokingly call it MINDows. The cerebellum is responsible for storing the subconscious. All your values, all your feelings, all your emotions, reflexes, skills and habits, your behavior patterns, all are written here. The cerebellum is responsible for all automatic processes, like walking, swimming, riding a bicycle, speaking a foreign language. The cerebellum is responsible for maintaining balance, coordinating movements, awareness of body position in space. The cerebellum is responsible for procedural memory. This is a kind of memorization where an action is repeated many times until it becomes your second nature, and then is performed automatically without the participation of consciousness and even with difficulties to explain how. Reptilian brain, the oldest one. The reptilian brain is responsible for your survival. All basic automatic body processes like breathing, blood circulation, muscle reactions, sleep, hunger, fear, all of them. The reptilian brain controls basic behavior, reproduction, aggression, territory protection, following patterns, imitation, deception, power, hierarchy. The reptilian brain is responsible for triggering the flight or fight mode initiated in the limbic system, as we said before. Now simplified, how all these 4 brain components work together in your body. The reptilian brain constantly protects, the thinking brain constantly thinks, the emotional brain constantly emotes, and as a result, you get your life experience. Simple psychology, everything is extremely simple, clear, and unchangeable, right? Let's give it a shot. Do you have a lot of conscious thoughts about how, when, with what exactly to do when you're driving a car, for example? Why not? And here's the most interesting thing. It's His Majesty, the Cerebellum. If the frontal lobe of the neocortex at some point detects too high a repetition of your same thoughts and feelings, and therefore a large accumulation of neural networks, plus if the limbic system is overflowing with corresponding emotions, then control is transferred to the autopilot, Mr. Cerebellum. And this means that in the cerebellum there is also the infinitely valuable, the code of the operating system of your mind. All your values, feelings, emotions, reflexes, skills and habits, behavior patterns. Imagine if you suddenly became a magician and could change this code. Well, delete everything you don't like about yourself and add new things that you would like to see in yourself. Good news. You don't need to become a magician. It's possible. It's possible through meditation and hypnosis. Before moving directly to the MINDows upgrade, meaning the matter of changing yourself from within by updating the operating system of your mind, I would like to briefly touch on the concepts of meditation and hypnosis. In short, meditation is calming the existing consciousness by your own concentration and relaxation, and hypnosis is turning the existing consciousness into a new consciousness by another person or you yourself through verbal suggestions. Or if we draw a parallel with the computer world, then meditation is a system reboot to empty the memory of the existing operating system and stop unnecessary processes. And hypnosis then would be programming a new optimized version of the operating system. Now let's move on to the practice. Here's, for example, the method of the famous Joe Dispenza on how to change yourself in 4 weeks. Number 1, the first 20 minutes of each session, you redirect attention from external stimuli to internal processes in the now. To do this, you track your own breathing, feel parts of the body, count, it doesn't matter what. All this turns off the analytical mind and switches you to sensory mode, activating the cerebellum. This way you get straight into the subconscious, into the operating system, right into your MINDows. And now you can speak to the subconscious and its native language, seeing its code live. Number 2, you clearly realize the bad piece of actual code that you want to delete. You can, by the way, compose this in advance when preparing for meditation. Now you vividly experience the thoughts, feelings and emotions associated with this bad old piece. Number 3, you emotionally say goodbye with ease to the bad old piece, leaving the cerebellum and dissolving in space, waiting for the release and redirection of energy to the good new piece of code. Number 4, you clearly realize the new good piece of code that you want to create. You can also compose this in advance when preparing to meditation. Now you vividly experience the thoughts, feelings and emotions associated with this good new piece of code. Number 5, you emotionally accept with ease the good new piece of code, flowing from space directly into your cerebellum, experiencing an infinite sense of gratitude and respect. Number 6, after a few weeks, you will notice how you've started to feel differently from within and how you've started to react differently to familiar things. When I went through this method many years ago, I even wrote a self-hypnosis for myself. An audio file where I voice my bad piece of actual code and the new good piece of the code to myself that I want to change in my own voice. And I learned the good and bad pieces of code through deep analysis of my thoughts, feelings and emotions and created 2 corresponding lists in Excel. Summing up this episode, I want to tell you, if you consciously and regularly install updates on your computer's operating system to enjoy new functions after its restart, then why not do this with your own mind?